All right, Dirty Sports episode 778. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from somewhere in Florida, Joey No Chill Prano.
Coming to you live from Bonita Springs, Florida, just outside of Naples, between Naples and Fort Myers.
A lot of old people down there.
A lot of old people. Stupidly, I should have rented a car. I was like, oh, well, I'll be here with Eddie. Eddie's not here for a couple days. I'm staying at a good friend of mine's parents' Florida house. And I just Ubered here. And then this morning I was like, oh, I have to go get breakfast. So I Google a place, walkable. I'm walking through my private country club, gated community. And it's just old people with dogs. I was there's a 50% chance on this walk that I'm just going to come across a body laying down with a dog licking its face. Come on, let's go. I mean, the amount of people I walked by that I was like, yeah, you're in your last 24 walks.
That's kind of depressing, man.
I know. I mean, I wasn't wishing it upon anybody. You know what I mean? But old people, they love to walk.
Yeah.
And I was walking and I was just like, man.
There's a guy on my street. There's an old guy. I still don't know what house he lives in. He walks with a giant walking stick. Good for him. He's old.
Yeah.
But when I drive, even if he's on the other side of the road, he moves into he stops and moves into the grass, even if he's on the complete other side. And the speed limit in my neighborhood's 25, and most people go 20 to 25. Nobody's really speeding. Yeah. So it's so funny to me. I always think, you see me coming and I go slow. I go 15 down the street. Thinking, what is he jumping in the grass for? On the other side, does he think I'm just going to veer right into him?
Yeah. Old people on their walks, man. It's I look forward to the day where that's my day, I remember when I was living in New York City, when I used to live on 20th Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, I used to work and I would leave in the morning and I would always see this old lady and she had one of those, I don't know if you know those city style old lady carts. It's kind of looks like a shopping cart, but it kind of more up and down.
Yeah.
She'd always be pushing it empty in the morning, and then I'd come home. Sometimes I'd leave work early or come back from watching football on a Sunday or something like that. And at 2 p.m. she would be pushing it back with stuff, and I was like, I left and I had a whole day, and all you did is get to your destination, fill your cart, and walk it back here. It's your whole day.
Is that on repeat too?
I guess so. It's oh no, I forgot toilet paper. Well, I guess that's what I'll do tomorrow.
I will say, and not to make this all serious, I mean, that's my biggest fear is being the old person with no loved ones in your life. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
That's
it's usually the women because they outlast men.
True. That is true.
Although you don't have a significant other, so it could be you too.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But you just won't be that old. You'll just be guy in sweats, going for a walk, and then one day dead.
Welcome to Dirty Sports, guys. We're doing it.
Yeah. I actually, I totally, in being down here, I've only been down here one day. I understand that life. I understand people who are going to Florida for the rest of my days.
Oh, yeah, I understand it too. I mean, the warm weather thing is real, and just living out your days in the sunshine and
in a gated community where your tea times are always available.
I mean, there's something to be said for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully when I'm that age, I'll still be able to enjoy NFL on Sunday, because we have had a wild and wacky season, especially the last few weeks.
Last few weeks have been crazy. We're now to the point where it's like, I legit, we talked about who we would have faith in winning a single playoff game, who we would have faith in not winning a single play. Like at this point, I have zero faith in anybody. I mean, the Derrick Henry goes down, the Titans go into Los Angeles and smoke the Rams.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
That was for sure. But that's not even, I don't even think that's top 3 weirdest outcomes of the week.
No. But I do want to talk about that real quick. It's just the defense obviously showed up. Obviously, and NBC, it just jinxed the hell out of Stafford. They're just talking so good about him.
And it was two horrible plays.
Yeah.
But also, forget the 2 horrible plays that turned into points for the Titans, but they also just didn't score. And I tweeted it last night. I said 13. I mistyped 13 instead of 12. But like when that game was 21-6 and you're driving and you have the ball, you have like 4th and 3 or whatever it is. I don't care what the analytics say. You have to go for it there. You haven't scored the whole game. You're just going to, and also we're going to make it 12. What does 12 do?
Yeah, I was confused why he didn't go for it there either. That was a questionable decision by McVay.
I got to tell you, my least favorite play, and this seems to be something that is like a modern NFL like go to. My least favorite play in the entire world is the 2nd and long run. And then you pass on 1st down, maybe it's incomplete, 2nd and 10. You run and your thing is like, let's get it down to 3rd and 3. Like, why? On 3rd down, teams almost exclusively pass anyway. What does it matter if it's 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 7 or third? Like this 2nd and long run after I think it might be the new shotgun draw for me, especially since it often is the shotgun draw.
My biggest pet peeve, and Michael Strahan talked about this a few weeks ago on the Manning cast. I just can't get over these receivers being a yard or half a yard short on 3rd down.
Yeah.
And they're routes.
Breaking it early.
Dude, I saw so many times I saw that happen yesterday. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, they're yard, half a yard short. And I just said, what are you doing? You got to know where the great receivers know where the sticks are. That's my pet peeve. But the Titans, they said something last night, which to me is the only stat you really need to know, which shows how good they actually are. The Titans are 6-0 this year against playoff teams from last year. Think about that.
Right.
They haven't lost a game.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the stat. When you're undefeated, you're 7-2. And of those 7 wins, 6 are against playoff teams from the previous year, and you haven't lost one. And they also said this last night, and I agree. Vrabel just is underrated as a coach. He is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the people that matter rate him pretty solidly, but I think overall, if you ask football fan X, the top 5 coaches in the league, Vrabel probably doesn't come up.
Yeah. So right now, they're the 1 seed in the AFC, which is pretty crazy because after that, you got the Ravens at 6-2. Chargers right now would win the division at 5-3. Bills at 5-3. Raiders would get in at 5-3. Steelers 4-3, and the Patriots at 5-4. I mean, it's really up for grabs, like you said.
Are those the playoff teams right now?
Yeah, right now. Chiefs would be out. Browns would be out. Bengals would be out. Broncos would be out.
Bengals from first to worst. The Andy Ruther. Oh, look. Oh, man. He just gave us the security. He gave us the last dance security guard.
I mean, How many times are we going to do
Where's
this?
Randy Ruther this morning? Where is Randy? Randy Ruther came at me hard on Twitter because I said sorry. Getting beat by the Jets took away all the playing the Packers close love that I was giving you guys, and Randy Ruther called me a fraud and all that. I wonder where Randy Ruther is today.
Well, I was looking before the show because I had highlights from the Bengals game. I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, it was just terrible. They just played terrible, both sides of the ball. And I put together a quick little 90-second highlight reel just to troll Bengals fans. And I see, because I posted it on Reddit too, on the Dirty Sports Reddit. And somebody writes, "This hurts me to my soul. I just don't get why he, as in me, has to come at the fans. Cincinnati is a great city and great people. I'm so sick of being dunked on by the national media and Cincy defectors. Can we please have a good finish to the season? LMFAO. There was only one person who did anything to him, so take it up with that account." Well, it's not, dude. It's, you know what it is? It's if you listen to the show, you know it's the same thing every year. This is our year. It's not one fan or one person coming at me or a few. It's like, how many times are we going to do this? Like, again, until they win a playoff game. We're talking about how many times I said this? We're talking about one playoff game. That is how low the bar has been set for the Cincinnati Bengals. One playoff win. And look, if you're a fan, cool. Like I said, you keep rooting for them, but don't expect different results.
And also, what is it like? I don't understand I'm sick of getting dunked on. It's like, what, like, that's what the media and talking heads and podcasts, whatever, do when you're bad. I mean, how many times have I seen the boat picture that includes literally no one on the New York Football Giants? The New York, no one in that picture. Is it Sterling Shepard? Maybe is in that picture. Literally everyone else isn't in that picture. What does this have to do with my football team? And they're like, since this, what are you guys talking about? But that's what they do when you're bad.
And watching that game again yesterday, my takeaway, it comes back to coaching. I just think Zach Taylor, he shouldn't be a head coach. Nothing in his resume shows he should be a head coach. And Burrow now has, here's a stat. Burrow has 7 interceptions in his last 5 games.
Yeah.
I think Burrow's really good. I'm not taking anything away from him, but you can't turn the ball over. Like, you can't throw a 99-yard telegraphed pick 6. And they just weren't prepared. You get stomped at home in a division interstate rivalry. You just get stomped. The Bengals are lucky they have a bye this week. I'll say that. It'll give them some time to regroup possibly, but look at that division now, Joe. Like, who do we like now? Now the Browns are 5-4. The Bengals are 5-4. Baltimore 6-2. Pittsburgh's 4-3 heading into tonight. So every team has a winning record.
I like the Ravens and the Browns.
Yeah, me too.
I still don't believe in Pittsburgh. I don't care what games they win. I mean, I don't care if they win tonight against the Bears. It's like I don't know what Pittsburgh's schedule is down the stretch, but I think they're obviously going to have to play a bunch of games against those division teams. And I think they're probably the worst of all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
And listen, I jumped on the Bengals bandwagon and I jumped off very quickly because, by the way, I jumped on after a loss. I jumped on. I said I liked how they played in that Packers game. I was like, oh, you're competing with the, one of the elite teams in the NFL of the past X amount of years, not just a team having a good year against a good quarterback. You play a good game. I was like, maybe they're better even in that loss than I gave them credit for, because I don't care if you have, wins against shitty teams and you have, losses against great teams. It's like, I want to see how you are. Like, I need to judge the full picture. And I was like, you know what? They're better than I thought they were. And then when you lose to the Jets in that game with a backup quarterback and you give up all those points, and it's all, well, the thing about the Bengals is their defense is good. And it's like, well, not if Mike White's going to set a passing record against you. Then I don't care what your statistical defense says. Now I don't think you're good at all. And they come back, and this is another high scoring game by the Browns. So, yeah, I mean, I still think the Bengals are better than the Steelers, but I have Ravens Browns ahead of them.
Let's not forget, and we always talk about this on our show, that window on the rookie contract for the quarterback, you got to win within the first 4 to 5 years. You have to.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Because once Burrow gets paid and he's in year 2, which is only year 2, but when you have the talent that they do have, the Bengals have a very talented roster. You got to win now. And Jamar Chase is going to get paid right around the same time. So they have to make a Super Bowl push like next year. I mean, that's that, or the year after that.
And then the thing is, it's a Super Bowl or bust league, but when you haven't won a playoff game in 30 years or whatever, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a playoff game or bust league. Like maybe this is your goal. Maybe you have to set a lower bar than teams. Like I'd say, the Jets, the Jets, the Bengals, the Lions, the Texans, whatever. There's teams who are so historically bad that maybe your goal is to win a playoff game and show people, hey, you can come and sign here. We'll make the playoffs. We'll win a playoff game. We're close, because otherwise, who's going to want to go to Detroit? Who's going to want to go to Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Who's going to? I mean, the Jets are a different story, but
the Ravens were down double digits again. And they came back again, and the Vikings just keep blowing games. The Ravens are 6-2, but I still don't know. I don't know. I watched yesterday's games, and I still think if the Ravens are playing their best and the Browns are playing their best, I just think the Browns are better. Again, if they're playing their best,
right.
If the Browns do like they did yesterday, they sacked Burrow 5 times. Burrow was getting lit. I mean, they pulled him from the game. He was getting hit so much. If the Browns can play that way defensively, can run the ball like they did yesterday, which then opens play action, and they hit the deep threat like they did with Peoples-Jones. I think the Browns probably are overall the better team. But again,
I agree with you. I think the Browns have a higher ceiling.
Yes.
But I think the Browns also have a lower floor. They look terrible at times. And the Ravens have had some terrible games. But I think that you can almost, and that might essentially be the problem with the Ravens. Look in the last couple of years, it's like they have these great regular seasons, but how does that translate to come playoff time? And the bottom line is, I think that they could end up winning the division, and they could end up, with a home game. And yet I still probably like the Browns' potential more to play longer in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I almost like the Browns' chances of winning 2 road games than the Ravens' chances of like winning a home road game, them winning a road home game, your road playoff game,
Yeah. Now let's move to the AFC West. Again, the only other division in the NFL where every team has a winning record. Chargers eke out a very close win at Philly. They needed that. So they go to 5-3. The Broncos, you alluded to it earlier, just stomped on the Cowboys. That game is
that was the paper tiger game we've been waiting for, right? I almost demanded Tug Coker appear on the show today. Not that he has, I've talked to him a lot about it, not that he has claimed that the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders, but we almost need a state of the Cowboys fans today. Like that wasn't a game for 1 second. They got their ass beat by the Broncos. Yeah,
you're right. I just kept, as I'm watching this game, I keep thinking they're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around. No, they were never, ever in that. They were down 19-0 after 3 quarters. They were never in that game. It wasn't even close. So that makes me question. I was riding feeling pretty good about the Cowboys. But after that game, I have zero faith in them in the playoffs.
Well, I had zero faith in them in the playoffs already, but the Cowboys at this point, and I know I'm a Giants homer and the Eagles stink and the Redskins stink and whatever, but if you're a Cowboys fan, you just got to be like thanking God that you got out and won some games that maybe you really shouldn't have won up to this point, and that you have a 3-game lead. Because I almost think if this
the hell was that?
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that?
That's gotta be from you, right?
Yeah. Well, I had on, I don't know. I just closed out. I was looking at the box score of that game, and then somebody started laughing.
That was weird. That was like some
the Joker. Was that
yeah.
It sounded like the Joker.
It sounded like the clown in It. Come on, Andy. It's really nice down here.
Someone's a Cowboys fan.
What I was saying is, like, I almost think that if you see that Cowboys performance, if this division was any closer, if they had a 2-game lead right now instead of a 3-game lead, I'd be worried about their playoff potential.
Yeah.
Again, by the way, and that means on anybody, on Philly, on the Giants, on Washington, if anybody had 4 wins to their 6,
sure,
I'd be like, oh, let's see what happens here, which is what's infuriating as a Giants fan. I mean, again, obviously we only win games when we don't fucking need to, when we shouldn't, but beat the Raiders, the Chiefs, Washington, Atlanta, trifecta games that are just going to haunt us the whole year.
Yeah, even if you just took 2 of those or 1 of those.
Yeah, or one. That's what I'm saying. 1 right now. If the phantom offsides call against Washington doesn't get called, I like our chances with another game against Dallas.
So where does that leave us with the AFC West? Obviously, the Raiders lose. That was a good game yesterday. Good back and forth game. Broncos really show something, in my opinion, to go on the road after they trade away Von Miller. Chargers didn't look exceptional at all.
Honestly, I remain disappointed in the Chargers this year.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the games they've lost, they lost the Dallas game, right? They lost the Patriots game. And what other loss do they have? Because they're 5-3.
Yeah, they've lost. Let's see here. Who else did they lose to? They've lost Dallas, Patriots.
Oh, and the Raiders.
No, they lost to Baltimore. They
Okay.
killed the Raiders. They got smoked by the
Baltimore.
Ravens.
Right. Baltimore kicks their ass. That's 2 games I feel like they shouldn't have lost, and 1 game that should have been closer. Like, I just don't. They're not showing me that they're that good at all.
Well, I agree. So who wins that
I hate
division?
to say it, but it's like,
The Raiders.
Here come the Chiefs.
The Chiefs look so bad, Joe. They look so bad. That game was so tough to watch yesterday. Again, Chiefs went from the most exciting, fun team to watch the last 3 years to I'm bored out of my mind watching this puttering offense now. I just don't know what happened. What happened to their offense?
I think they're too cute. I mean, I know they can't run the ball, but I just think they're too fucking cute.
They can't run the ball at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Love couldn't complete a pass yesterday. The Chiefs team of the past is winning 32-0 at some point in that game. They're 13-0. It felt like the whole game until the very end.
But now the Chiefs have the Raiders next week on Monday night in Las Vegas. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 right now, according to the ESPN page. and they're 5-4. And if they beat the Raiders, like, look at where we're at if they beat the Raiders.
So do you think the Chiefs win that division? So we're halfway through the season. What do you think about the second half?
I kind of do. Like, I kind of want to say, like, but here's the issue with that is, like, yes, the Chiefs do not look good, but who looks good?
No,
Raiders just lost to the Giants. The Chargers the Chargers sneak away from a game against a team that I think is the worst team in the NFC East.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know who to pick. But every week I keep thinking the Chiefs offense is going to turn it around, and they don't. And let's be honest, if Aaron Rodgers plays yesterday, they don't win that game. They just don't.
Well,
they don't win that game.
Are we even doing that portion of the show? Is that a thing, or has it been significantly covered by everybody at this point?
What's that?
That Aaron Rodgers, the ludicrous Aaron Rodgers interview.
Well, see, I think we disagree on a lot of those things.
Yeah, we obviously disagree.
I think he obviously shouldn't have lied, and I think
I just think he embarrassed himself by, like, doing not only lying, then not admitting he lied, which he did. He did lie. We all agree that, right? He 100% lied. And so when he says I didn't lie, he lies again. Right?
I agree.
So we have that. And then also, just like, I mean, the refrigerator poetry of shitty, like, 2021 catchphrases, woke mob, cancel culture, like, my own research, like, Joe Rogan, like, bro, what are you doing? What fire your PR agents into the sun? Not that you have any, or else this never would have happened.
Well, look, I agree that he lied and he's doubled down on it, and that none of that's good. But he also said, I watched the full thing. He also said a lot of things I agree with.
Yeah, but he stumbled into some things that common sense people will agree with. But he also said so many reckless and wrong and misinformation. Like, he's one of the most popular athletes in the world. He's telling people that he's afraid of being sterile from taking the vaccine. Why didn't he say he was afraid that it was going to make him throw left-handed? There's as much proof of that as it is that it's going to sterilize people.
Well, like I said, I mean, this issue is everyone. My problem with the whole issue on all this stuff is everyone wants to make it black and white, and it's not. And there's certain comments he said that I truly agree with. Like when he says health is not a one size fits all for everybody, I think that's a valid comment.
Yeah, and no one's saying it is, though.
But I think a lot of people are. And I do agree with Aaron that there's truth to the shaming for people who don't get vaccinated. I think there is truth to that.
Of course there is. And he knew that going into it. Sure. That's why he lied about it.
100%. Now, you and I aren't those people. We've said all along, dude, if you don't get the vaccine, you don't get the vaccine, whatever. I'm also just of the team shame athletes who don't do it, because then how much you really care about your sport, how much you really care about your team, how much you really care about winning football games. And that's a fair point.
And and honestly, it's the same thing as Henry Ruggs, and it's the same thing or whatever. If you make terrible decisions that costs you football games, like, you're not thinking you're the claim of I'm all about this team, I'm all about my locker room, I'm all about my teammates. Well, you're not.
Now, he said that they did know, that everybody knew on the Packers, all his teammates, everybody in the organization, which is fine, but
so now they're also going along with the lie, since you're, like, standing on the sideline without a mask on. So everybody's just like, Aaron's not vaccinated, but we're going to pretend he is.
Look, but here's the thing. He's questioning some of the protocol of the process for COVID, which I think is also fair, though.
Sure. But we have talked about it before. What, like, the rules? I mean, again, if Kyrie Irving played football, he'd be playing, right? Because the only thing is it's inside. The rules are ridiculous in the mandates, the when guys are getting tested, when they're not getting tested. You're all allowed to roll around together and be in a huddle, but then if you're on the sideline, you have to have a mask on. That's fine. But that goes back to my point. There's a ton of ridiculous rules in sports, and there's a ton of ridiculous corporate policies across the board in the world of business. And it's fine, by the way. You don't have to ride or die with your law firm. You don't have to ride or die with your accounting company. But don't go out there and tell me how much you care about this locker room and how much you care about this football team, and then lie on television about being vaccinated and then miss games because of it.
Yeah, like I said, he definitely lied, and he's
a terrible teammate.
He doubled down on it, and like I said, I firmly believe they win that game if they have him.
Yeah.
So you do hurt your team.
And then where are we with the Rams losing? And then where are we? Like, you know, it's the difference. It could very well be the difference between a 1 seed, a bye, and a not a bye in the playoffs.
I overall, I like Aaron Rodgers, and I've made that clear. I think we've both liked him, and I think he is a smart guy. I think I'm not throwing everything out for years of what I would say evidence that I think he is a smart guy. I think he's well thought. I think he made some bad decisions for sure.
I love Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, and I loved Aaron Rodgers as a person, and I am docking smart points based on some of the things he said. And I used to think he was a smart guy, and now I'm like, bro, just a couple of the things you're talking about just make me think that you're not smart. And honestly, the other thing, the whole entire, I mean, he got dunked on by a lot of people, and deservedly so. It's like, imagine him walking back into the locker room this week and Matt LaFleur being like, all right, you had a week off, but we come back to play the Seahawks this week. And I was talking to your dermatologist about how we attack the 4-3. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, yeah, me and a doctor have been doing research on how to best handle, soft zone coverage. Aaron Rodgers would be like, get me a new coach immediately. But him and fucking whoever are doing their research on COVID-19, like, dude, you're embarrassing yourself.
Well, look, I'm sure he has access to a lot of doctors, correct?
Well, he should have mentioned them instead of mentioning Joe Rogan.
I think he's got access to a lot of people. And I think that at the end of the day, he did what he thought was best for himself, which is fine, but just be straight up about it. Right. There's my major issue.
And I also think I'm not sure he's not done lying. I looked and I'm allergic to these things. What are you allergic to? We didn't get that.
I think that's a fair question. I think that's a fair question. Is he lying about being allergic to 2 of the vaccines?
And then the Johnson & Johnson, he didn't take for the 11 days it was off the market because it was causing blood clots in pregnant women over 35 years old or whatever.
But he also has valid points on saying the pharmaceutical business. I've hated the pharmaceutical business. These are multi-billion-dollar contracts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's validity to where this money is going and all that. Like, those are
cool.
Again, he's making some valid points.
Now tell me, in the many games over the years where we've seen Aaron Rodgers play through injury, play battered up, tell me, like, here's the thing. I am all for it. I am like, Aaron Rodgers is what he says he is. If I hear a statement from the team doctor being like, yo, in this NFC championship game, he took a hit and we wanted to give him a cortisone shot. And he was like, I don't know what's in that. But I have a feeling he didn't. I have a feeling he was like, yeah, hit me with that fucking cortisone shot.
And you're probably right. And that's a fair point as far as hypocrisy goes. Look, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think there's a, it was a 47-minute interview. There's a lot of talking points in there. And, his point, which I'd quote tweeted, is true. Like the point about like, him, what did he say? I'll pull it up. He said, what exactly did he say? What was his line? He said, again, there are takeaways from me when he says the right is going to champion me and the left is going to cancel me. I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a total sham. I'm not going on Fox News, just like I'm not going on CNN. Like I agree with everything he said there.
Yeah. The only problem with that is and of course that's a valid statement for anybody with common sense, but he opened the thing saying, I know I'm in the woke mob's crosshairs. So, well, you do care about it because you're picking that one side and saying, I know that they're coming after me. It's like, why are you even thinking about that? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a crazy time.
You're in the crosshairs of people who think that you're a dick for lying. You're in the crosshairs of Packers fans and gamblers who are like, dude, you're missing this game because you're lying. Like I know I've been accused of being in the fucking woke mob, and I've also been accused of being a fascist Trumper by, the variety of people who listen to this show. But like, I'm not in the woke mob. I just think you embarrassed yourself by lying, not owning it, missing a game, pretending to be vaccinated, mentioning fucking Joe Rogan. Like, what are you doing?
Well, look, I think those are all fair points. And I agree that he shouldn't have lied and that he cost his team a game, and it's very selfish, and it's not a team friendly decision. Just be honest. And he, he can say all he wants. If I had a follow-up question, that's a bullshit cop out. I agree. Come on, dude. You were asked it. You said immunized. First of all,
no, I don't even care. You said, yeah. The question was, are you vaccinated and how do you feel about it? Yeah. ... Okay. Clip the quote after yeah. That was where you lied.
I'm not an expert on this stuff, nor do I claim to be. And that's why, like, I know people are going to have different opinions on, everything that's happened in the last 2 years. That's why I try not to go nuts either way. I know the decisions I've made for myself, right? I know it was important for me to get vaccinated. Have I thought about risks and repercussions? Yeah. But like, I made those decisions. Fine. If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. But
let me ask you something. You have immunocompromised family.
I do.
Right? Correct. And the majority of your close family is vaccinated?
Correct.
What if you guys all got together for Thanksgiving and you guys started going around and just being like, hey, like the conversation we've all had, when I got the Johnson & Johnson, I felt like this. When I got the Moderna, I felt like this. How did you handle it? And then, you go to one of your brothers and you're like, which one did you get? How did you feel? He's like, well, I didn't get any of those three. Well, what do you mean you didn't get one of those three? Well, I'm actually not vaccinated, but and I know I've been acting like I am, but I am immunized. You'd be like, you're a motherfucker for making us all think that you were, when there's somebody here who could be affected by the fact that you're not.
Yeah, no, I would. Again, he's trying to claim that everyone knew on his team.
Everyone didn't know because you were asked if you were vaccinated and you said, yeah.
Regardless, it's definitely selfish to lie. It's not right to lie. And it affected your team ultimately, right? That's the bottom line here. Do we both agree they win that game if they have Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
So, to me, that's the big bottom line. Again, you don't have to get the vaccine, but you should have just said you didn't get the vaccine at the end of the day. Because that is going to be a huge loss. The Packers are
because then you're Cole Beasley and you're Kirk Cousins and you're whatever, and you just have to take it on the fucking chin. But you're not. You didn't want to be Cole Beasley. You want to be America's fucking sweetheart, everybody's favorite quarterback. You want to be fucking John Wick and the host of Jeopardy and all the things that you want to be. You want to be the guy who goes on McAfee and tells it like it is until it comes out you're not. And then you're scrambling and just grasping at what I believe are terrible talking points to justify why you did what you did.
I would advise everybody to watch the full interview just to see everything he says, because he goes on some long rants, and that way you can hear it from his mouth, not, headlines that always try to spin things their way. I would just suggest everybody listen to it and Pat let him speak and do his thing. Yeah. And
Pat definitely let him do his thing.
Well, but I defend Pat on that, because it's like, Pat, if you watch Pat's show, and I watch a fair amount of his show, he doesn't try to get into politics and stuff. That's just not his thing.
But also, Pat is a pretty tell it like it is guy. When he says he doesn't lie, you go, man, they asked you if you're vaccinated, and the first word out of your mouth was, yeah. So I love you, and I don't want you to stop coming on for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, but make it make sense. How somebody asked you if you were vaccinated, you said yeah, and you didn't lie.
But I don't think, I just, Pat to me isn't he's not a confrontational person.
I agree.
That's just not his thing, or how he wants to run his show. And
which is why Aaron Rodgers does the interview there and not, with whoever.
Sure, but also Aaron can. I think it's a better format for him anyway. I'd rather go on a long form, whatever show it is. I'd rather go on a long form podcast than a 10 to 15 minute interview clip, whether it's an ESPN show or Fox Sports or whatever. I mean, those things to me, those aren't real. Those quick interviews, whether it's sports or politics, I don't get to learn about anyone, when I watch those things. That's why I don't watch any of that stuff.
Well, dare I say, and I know you might disagree with this, dare I say Aaron Rodgers would have been better off with one of those. Because I think the more he talked, the more suspect I became of Aaron Rodgers. I did not like how Aaron Rodgers came off in that interview.
Okay.
I'm disappointed as an Aaron Rodgers stan that this is where we've gotten with Aaron Rodgers. And here's the thing. We did the whole story about Aaron Rodgers and his weirdness and all the stuff. You remember like the stories that came out about, how he was with teammates and the things he does, and I used to think it was quirky and fun. And now I'm going like, oh, I think he might be more like weird.
No, I still like him.
Even in the weirdness we said.
Personally, I didn't take it that way. I watched the interview. Like I said, I think he says things I disagree with. He says some things I agree with. I took it as just, hey, this is his quote unquote side, or he could be still lying about things. There's a lot. We live in a crazy time because there's so much going on, and everything is so hyper politicized, and everything's so sensitive, and it was funny watching his interview play out, because some things he did say are true. Like I always think to myself, we live in a crazy time because both sides on the two ends of the spectrum, they need each other, right? So for as much, if you really think about it, and I don't think people think about this, if you really think about it, all the people who bitch about woke culture, they need that for their existence and their platform. And that's the truth. And vice versa.
Of course.
the wokes, you know, the Clay Travis needs Jamel Hill and vice versa. Jamel Hill needs Clay Travis. In this business, and I don't know how you could look at it financially. I mean, I'd almost argue the woke versus non-woke culture is like a multi-billion-dollar business at this point, through podcasting, through TV.
Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, CNN and Fox News alone.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't think people think about that a lot of times. Like, you need each other, you know, and you see it play out. And that's what's kind of funny to me, is that everybody wants to pin you into one area where a lot of times it's free flowing. But I want to change this subject real quick here, Joe. I just want to say, I'm looking right now, and I'm happy to announce this. We officially have our own analytics guy for Dirty Sports.
Great.
And this is great. And I'm going to share this with you as well. So, longtime DirtBall, Tyler Hawkins, who goes, shout out to Tyler. He goes to Miami of Ohio. I've met him, and he's getting his master's in this area of sports analytics. And he's already compiled stuff for us. And he just texted me and sent me some great info that you and I are going to have access to. So we have our own Dirty Sports Analytics. And he sent me the thing looking at future predictions to win the playoffs or win in the playoffs, make the Super Bowl, future projected records of he has every team on here. He's got great in-depth analysis of week 9 quarterback leaders, rushing, receiving.
It's great.
So
I'd love to hear what he thought about the Rams kicking a field goal to make it 9 points.
Yeah, I don't see that here, but he, according to his analysis, and again, this is all how he factors things in, it's really close for Super Bowl winning odds. He has the top 2 as the Cardinals and Titans.
Well, they're the 1 seeds.
Yeah.
And in the recent history, you get a bye. Obviously, this is the first year or the second year, right, that they're doing 7 teams.
I always forget.
Whatever it is. But in the last 10 years or whatever, you get a bye, you have a lot better chances of going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'm going to share this with you right now. So shout out to Tyler on this. This is actually really cool. He has the different projections of each team's record and the QB efficiency rating, all this stuff. This is actually this is really cool. And you know me, I'm starting to really like this stuff. And stats don't always mean everything, but they do tell a huge story as far as how everything plays out. What are some of the other takeaways we have
from this week?
From week 9.
Let me see if there's anything I missed. Well, first of all, his Tyler's analytic projections that have the Titans up there. I think a lot of people prior to a Bills Jags game might have been like, well, the Bills are the team. What, like, how is that like that? The Cowboys game, the Bills game, and the Cardinals Niners game. I just cannot make sense of them.
Yeah.
All happening. Like any given Sunday
happens.
Any given Sunday, the Broncos kick a game-winning field goal and beat the Cowboys. Okay. They beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday, Colt McCoy comes off the bench and wins the game. They beat the shit out of them.
San Francisco.
The Niners weren't in that game for a second. Any given Sunday, you play a Bills-Jags game and there's a bunch of, points scored and there's a backdoor cover and 9-6 or whatever it was.
Yeah, they can't score. They just can't score in that game. The Bills, they haven't looked good.
We got to talk about the Manning curse. Manning curse is the strongest thing I've ever seen. This makes the Andy Ruther curse look like fucking,
oh my God,
Disney voodoo.
So here's the Manning curse. It is real. All these QBs or
players
lose the next week. Every single one of these players who's come on the Manning cast has lost the next week. Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Gronk, Travis Kelce, Russell Wilson. All of them have lost the next week after going on the Manning Monday Night Football broadcast.
And I mean, we even joked that I was like, oh, well, that's over. Josh Allen's not losing to the Jaguars. Actually, he is. And he's going to turn the ball over 3 times. He's going to have to score no touchdowns.
Will they address it? Are they doing tonight's broadcast?
I don't know. Are they?
I don't know.
They have to address it.
They have to address it at this point. I'd assume. I think they're doing it, aren't they?
I don't know.
That is a crazy curse. Because what's crazy about it is all those guys I named, most of them are going to be Hall of Famers.
And all on team, all in situations where you wouldn't think, again, any given Sunday, but like to the Jags.
Yeah. And these games were like you said, they weren't a field goal or a late touchdown. These were just bad games for this was a full game of losing.
What NFL team are you confident wins a single playoff game?
I had Rams going in to last night. I don't know. I still have confidence in the Rams. But then again, it got to be at home. That's the crazy part.
You're saying they got beat at home.
Well, I'm saying if they're not at home in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
But also they lost the fucking home game yet last
True.
night. I mean, right now, the Rams would play the Cowboys on the road.
I'd have confidence in the Rams in that one. I'd have good confidence in them.
You have confidence. Would you have confidence in Green Bay, provided it's Aaron Rodgers over an Atlanta team?
Yes. I'd have full confidence in that.
I mean, it's crazy right now that the 8 seed in the NFC is the 4 and 5 Carolina Panthers. That they are right there. And Minnesota,
they look terrible.
And Seattle,
by the way,
and San Francisco. Dude, I'd argue this. I'd argue every team below the Rams in the NFC is a bad football team. New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Minnesota, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, the Rams. Those are the top 5 seeds. I have no faith in New Orleans doing anything.
No.
I have no faith in Atlanta, Carolina, Minnesota, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia.
Carolina's bad for the record. Like their defense will keep them somewhat in games. Sam Darnold is just, he is who we thought he was. The Patriots are sneaking up, man. They're not really sneaking up. They're there.
Yeah.
And if their
Patriots are in the playoffs today and would be on the road in Baltimore. Do we?
Anything is possible.
I mean, I have no strong confidence in the Ravens at home against the Bill Belichick team.
No, I would take the right now, I would take the Patriots in that game.
I have no confidence in a Buffalo Vegas matchup of either of them winning. I have no, at this point, Chargers Pittsburgh is also a fucking coin flip in a playoff game. Dude, I'm telling you, the Chiefs are hanging around at 8. The Chiefs are going to get in the playoffs.
They have to start scoring, though.
I mean, but they're going to get in. I feel like they're going to get in. They have Raiders, Cowboys, Broncos, Raiders. I mean, their schedule is not easy down the stretch.
No.
Raiders, Cowboys, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Steelers, Bengals, Broncos.
That's what I'm saying. That's a tough schedule. Does every single one of those teams have a winning record, right?
Yeah.
So those are no gimme games. It's a tough year, man. I mean, imagine yesterday. I already got knocked out. I was looking at my survivor pool. The amount of people who had either Dallas
Or Buffalo.
or Buffalo.
Yeah. My survivor pool is a 2-strike league. And still most people are out because of yesterday. Buffalo, Dallas. I survived yesterday. My strike 2 with the Colts over the Jets.
Ooh.
I was just like, no way the Jets win 2 straight games.
Yeah, that's a smart approach. I like that. Yeah, man. I remember saying how tough last year was, and like anything could happen. This year is even more so. We're gonna end up with we could end up with a wild Super Bowl of 2 teams you didn't expect.
Yeah.
I do like. I don't know. I was gonna say I do like 2 teams from the. Do we get 2 teams from the AFC North and from the AFC West? Can that mathematically happen?
Yeah. Isn't it 2 teams from the AFC North and 2 teams from the AFC West in right now? Aren't the Chargers and Raiders, Pittsburgh and Ravens all in?
Yes. I think this 17 game, it really throws a wrench in it because we don't know that. I
hate it. I gotta say, I hate it.
That one extra game, there was a huge wrinkle in everything. Well, a lot to happen, a lot of emotions involved, and I know there's a lot of fans out there, especially ones in Cincinnati after that great start that are heartbroken. So I recommend to any fan that needs some therapy or needs to fix their mental health to go on Talkspace.com, Joe, because nothing is more important than keeping a good well-being. That's not how it works. Keeping a good
mental well-being.
That's how I want to work.
We're talking
right?
to you, Packers, Bengals, NFC East fans, Jets fans. Get yourself in there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's important. Therapy, obviously, I've always been a huge advocate of therapy. The last few years I've talked about it. Talkspace is great because you can have access to a licensed therapist 24/7. And if you guys need to talk with somebody, whether it's about life, family, relationships, your team losing, Talkspace has thousands. That's right. I say thousands of licensed therapists available to match with you. You can send and receive unlimited messages 24/7 with your dedicated therapist in the app. You can also schedule live video sessions with your licensed therapist from anywhere. So if you feel like your mental health has been stuck on the sidelines, see what they did there. Talkspace is here to help. Match with a licensed therapist when you go to Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month with the promo code DIRTY. It's a really good deal, guys, because this stuff is not cheap. That's $100 off when you use code DIRTY at Talkspace.com. Okay. Time for a big discussion about college football.
No,
I'm kidding.
Okay. Shout out to our Reddit for rebumping our Should the Dirty Sports Talk College Sports poll.
Did they? I'm pulling it up. Did they rebump it?
Yeah. I watched a little college football this weekend because our friend Eddie Ift, big Pitt Panthers fan.
Really?
Yeah. His dad's a big Pitt Panthers booster. He's got a lot of history with the Pitt football team. He really needed to watch that Duke Pitt game this week.
Oh boy.
He really likes that Kenny Pickett.
I mean, I obviously with Cincinnati in the discussion, I've been paying attention, and game day was here. Which shout out to the game day crew for coming to my high school Friday night. You love to see it. This is my
How
life
did
now.
you not go to? I honestly, I question everything I know about Andy. How did you not go to game day with a sign, like a Harambe sign? Like, who are you anymore?
Dude, it's too early. I'm an old man. Yeah, I didn't go, but the crew was at St. Xavier High School watching our St. Xavier Bombers crush Elder in a playoff game. I was there with two of my brothers, and Herb Street, Reese Davis, and Desmond Howard were all there. They were tweeting it out, which was fun. Obviously, Herb Street's son, as I've said, is a freshman at my high school. So that's probably the main reason they were there.
And does he play?
Here's what I heard. I have I should maybe tread lightly. Actually, who cares? I know someone very closely who coaches on the freshman team.
Okay.
Said he'd be very surprised if he pans out as a quarterback.
Okay.
Which was funny to me because I said, wait a second. You don't know if this is going to work out as a quarterback? Kirk Herbstreit literally bought a second place in Cincinnati just so his kid could go here to play quarterback.
Well, so you can buy all the houses you want. It doesn't make you able to throw the ball and whatever. And honestly, his dad's not around that much.
So my point, my point though kind of was like, you made a big family decision on the arm of your kid who it sounds like might not have the arm to be a quarterback. We'll see.
Got to get him in that Manning passing camp.
Yeah, right.
I mean, every time they talk about Manning passing camp on the Manning cast, like they're like, remember that one year where it was you, Lamar Jackson, Matt Stafford, Patrick Mahomes. Me, just like, geez, what are your chances of being in the Hall of Fame in the next 20 years if you didn't attend the Manning passing camp?
What's the history behind the Manning Passing Academy? Because every name has gone through that.
Yeah.
And they have video evidence.
Yeah.
They have stories. I mean, Josh Allen, he went to Wyoming. Like, it's not like he was a highly recruited guy. It was the only place that gave him a D1 scholarship. But I think a lot of times it's after they play, right? Do they go through that?
Yeah.
Before the draft? So at that point, they're prospects. I mean, that alone is its own podcast. Stories from Manning Passing Academy.
Yeah, it is its own podcast. It's Monday Night with the Mannings. It's the Manning cast. You have 0% chance of winning. You have 0% chance of making the Hall of Fame in the next 25 years as a quarterback unless you attend the Manning passing camp. You also have a 0% chance of winning your next game if you attend a podcast with the Mannings. It's a very hanging out with the Mannings is a very delicate situation.
It really is. Well, that can be a good segue talking about the Mannings into something that I want to discuss briefly that was released on Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Oh no. I got to subscribe now. Daggone it. It was free before. It was. Now I sound like Peyton Manning on the Manning cast. Damn it. The story is now only available for subscribers. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Business Insider story.
The business of sports.
No, forget it. I'm not even going to open that can.
No, this is Jordan. Well, this is the highest earning athletes of all time.
Oh, well, I saw the tweets about it.
Well, let me see. But I thought it was interesting to see. Oh, fuckers. I thought if I went into a different browsing app, I could do it. I guess they have my IP address. Well, F that. Okay. That was going to be fun.
Dude, is it because you already looked at it?
Yeah.
Well, then why don't I just pull it up?
I mean, Michael Jordan's earned the most money, but I thought it was interesting to see some of these guys, I didn't know some of the business stuff they had, which I thought was interesting. Like, wow, this person made this much money. Who knew this person had this many other side business? It's fine. It's not like that interesting. I mean, it's the big names that we all would have thought: Jordan, LeBron, Tiger Woods. But I didn't know certain things. I didn't know Peyton Manning sold all his Papa John's right before the controversy with Papa John himself. Like, there were some very smart business decisions on some of these guys.
Yeah.
My point is, we shit on athletes a lot about, I feel there's so much negativity on, oh, this athlete wastes his money, and this athlete. A lot of these guys are actually smart with their money and invest it correctly, or in other business ventures that actually make a lot of money. That's all I wanted to say from that.
Top 10 of all time: Jordan, Tiger, Arnold Palmer, Nicholas, Ronaldo, Mayweather, LeBron, Messi, Michael Schumacher, Roger Federer, Phil Mickelson, David Beckham.
Yeah, like I was shocked Phil Mickelson was up there.
It's like the majority, obviously, the majority of these guys' money is not actually from playing the sport itself, not from their athletic contract.
Yes.
Or their winnings. Jordan Brand, Tiger, and all his thing, Nike, Arnold Palmer at this point, and Nicholas are guys who have merch, are designing golf courses, have entire tournaments. Ronaldo, probably the soccer guys and the boxers, probably more so than the other guys from their actual paychecks. But even then, I mean, the boxers, I would say Mayweather, I would bet anything the percentage of the actual earnings that came from participating in the sport, probably Mayweather, probably the highest, right?
Yeah, I'd assume so. But that's what's crazy is you look at some of these guys who invested their money into things that played out. Like, and he's not on this list, but like, I know like Roger Staubach. Obviously, they didn't make that much money back then, but he took what he made and he's made like hundreds of millions of dollars, I think, in real estate or something along those lines. It's just, it's interesting to see once you have money, you can really get it back tenfold if you don't waste it on stupid things.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like cars and houses. So don't do that, guys. I
look forward. We just talked about Roger Staubach. I look forward to Aaron Rodgers being on this list in a couple of years from his big ivermectin investments.
Saw it coming. I did find myself looking up all the things about that because you hear a lot.
Well, that's a whole other conversation within that conversation of what, but that's something that's truly been politicized, but
sure. But hasn't everything at this point?
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things like that's a great example of something where everybody's right and everybody's wrong simultaneously.
Sure. Last night, first of all, I couldn't believe he said it. Like, he talked about putting your foot in your mouth. I mean, Chris Collinsworth last night says Adrian Peterson is one of the really good guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat his 4-year-old son. Like, he was like he played guilty for beating his kid with a switch. And I'm not even comment. Like all I wrote was on Dirty Sports, the quote, and says his kids disagree. Literally, like it's one response, but I see somebody writing weak. It's like, what's weak? Me just saying that this, to me, this is what I'm talking about. Like
his kid's pain tolerance. That's what's weak, Andy. Why are they even pressing charges? Back in my day, we walked uphill to school both ways in the snow. He took a switch in the face and he didn't complain about it. Weak. It's like every single person in history has ever been like pussy, weak on the internet is the softest person that has ever walked planet Earth.
Like, that's totally fair game to bring that up. What he did. Like, in Collinsworth, you don't even have to mention it. I don't care if you don't mention it. But you can't go out of your way and be like, he doubled down. It was like, he's one of the really good guys. You're like, what? He beat his kids. He hurt the kids. I don't even want to get into it. I forgot what he did. I'm like his testicles? He had marks on his testicles?
Yeah.
Leave the balls out of it. That's all I'm saying. I have to bring up the stat from the other night that I saw. Did you see this during the Lakers game?
I don't know I don't know what stat you're talking about or which Lakers game.
Saturday night Lakers game. They get smoked by the Blazers.
Right.
The Lakers starting five scored 24 points combined.
That's bad.
It's tied for the second fewest in a game since starters were listed on the box score, 70-71.
Wow.
I just thought, like, how does the Lakers starting five, which in that game, I'll pull up their starting five. Their starting five was Bazemore, Davis, DeAndre Jordan, Russell Westbrook, Avery Bradley. Russell Westbrook was 1 of 13. Now Anthony Davis only played 7 minutes, but still. 24 combined points.
I mean, it's a disastrous starting five.
I don't like this team, for the record. That's the reason I'm bringing it up. I don't like this team. I don't like Russell Westbrook on this team.
I said from the beginning, Russell Westbrook on this team doesn't make them any more legit contenders. All I think it does is, give them potential where he can help them win a game in the middle of the year when, LeBron is out or Anthony Davis is out. But you look at a game where LeBron's out and Anthony Davis plays 7 minutes, they get their ass kicked. So now it's the Blazers who are decent, but at the same time, the whole point of it, to me, the whole point of the move, and I don't think it was their whole point when they made the move. I think they thought that makes them better, but I think the only thing that makes sense to me is you get him because it helps you be a top 4 seed, even though maybe it doesn't get you any closer. And then, you won it a couple of years ago on the back of LeBron and Anthony Davis. So if you get them more rest and you get them a home series in the first round and you get them whatever, then it helps you in that sense. But right now, the Lakers, I think, are, out of the playoffs. Now we're 10 games into the season, but still.
Yeah.
This Lakers team, and at this point in LeBron James' career, you can't be an 8 seed or a 7 seed. You're not going to do it.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs right now. And it's 10 games in, but still. By the way, I did look up. You mentioned it earlier. Randy Ruther has gone dark. Randy Ruther on Twitter has not tweeted since November 4th.
I think there's a good chance Randy Ruther got so drunk during the Bengals blowout loss that he fried to death on a 120-degree Scottsdale street corner after not being able to make it back home.
Wow, you have some really good insight into who Randy Ruther is.
Yeah.
You've done some really good intel.
Yeah.
Can I get a who day? What is Randy Ruther always tweeting?
Yeah. Can I get a who day?
Can I get a who day? You know how I know? I'll say this about Cincinnati people. You know how I know they really don't care that much? They were running during the Chiefs-Packers game. I saw multiple advertisements saying tickets are still available for the Steelers games, the Steeler game, which is in 3 weeks. So that tells me, it tells you a few things. They haven't sold out. The Bengals are still 5-4. They haven't sold out the Steelers game in 3 weeks. And it also tells me those tickets will be bought by Steelers fans.
Right.
So looks like Cincinnati still hasn't bought in, nor do I blame them. Would you like to get to some dirtball calls?
Yeah, why not?
We
What
haven't.
else
We
do we
haven't.
have? I don't know what else we have on the agenda, so that
I
works
don't.
for me.
I don't think we have anything else, and we haven't heard from the Dirtballs in a while. 310-359-8365. That is our hotline, and we got sports calls, non-sports calls. You guys know how we do it. We'll mix it up. Let's start with the sports call.
What's going on, boys? Kyle Aronofsky calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. Calling in after a Jets loss. Give me a sec. My dog is stuck in the woods. Oh, never mind. He got out. Good job, buddy. We just in some people's minds we got blown out by the Colts. We're down by a lot of points. It was a terrible game for the defense. But the Jets came back near the end with Josh Johnson. He threw for I think almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had the pick at the end that was deflected and picked off. But the reason the call is really the reason that the Jets came back is that the Colts are playing that prevent defense. And is there anything in sports that continues to be done by teams that has been proven time and time again to not work? The prevent defense is such an abysmal strategy. When you're up by 20-something points, you think that's a lot, but 2 touchdowns and all of a sudden it's a different game. And the prevent defense for years, I remember Coughlin was, at least in New Jersey here, everyone always talked about how Coughlin was a prevent defense stan. And it's one of those things. Is there anything else in sports that has been proven time and time again to not work that people are so stubborn that they keep running it? That's it. Condoms are for Carson Wentz.
Because you and I have talked about this a lot, actually.
Yes.
I hate it too. And that was a game.
Here's the thing, because I'm certainly not a prevent defense stan, and I would say I'm a prevent defense critic more than anything. But the one thing I will say is I actually approve of playing the prevent defense when there's 8 minutes left to go in the game and you're up 20 points. Because then it's let's give up touchdowns, but let's give up touchdowns slowly. That's a totally different thing from what I think, which is when you're down, when the other team has 40 seconds to go the length of the field and you play the prevent defense to try to keep them from scoring 1 touchdown. It's like, dude, when the game is 1 possession, you've gotten yourself to this position by playing, don't change anything now. I hate let's let them get chunk plays, but just don't let them score, because in the end, all you need is them to get down to the 30 or even the 40, and then one guy make 1 mistake, and then it's a touchdown. Whereas when you're up 20 with 8 minutes to go, it's like, cool. If they score a touchdown here and it takes them 4 minutes, our percent chances of winning this game just went up, 35% or whatever. I always think it's only a strategy when it's literally you versus the clock.
Yeah.
This, let's play the prevent defense with 1 minute to go and hope they don't score the 1 touchdown is the dumbest shit ever. So I agree and disagree simultaneously. Like in this Jets game, it works.
Well, they were 42-16.
And they're playing a game against the clock.
And they are, but then they get it down to let me put it this way. It's 45-30. The Jets, if I remember correctly, get within the 15-yard line with 1 minute to go. If they score there and get an onside kick, all I'm saying is you're like, holy shit. Suddenly they can tie this game after being up.
But also suddenly they lose the game by 15 points.
They do. I hate it. I hate prevent. I've always hated it. I don't get it. It's a terrible defense. I've never liked it. Okay, we can continue. We'll continue with a Colts theme, with the Colts question.
What's up, boys? Greg Feldman, Utah Dirtball. Also a fucking Colts fan. It's been a rough season, as you can tell.
Quick question here. Who would you rather have starting quarterback for the Colts right now in their season? Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston healthy, or Kirk Cousins? Honestly, I don't fucking know, but I just hope, I don't know, I think Carson Wentz needs to die in a fucking house fire or some shit. But,
Whoa.
yeah. Anyway, stay dirty and condoms up for Sam Tripoli. Good boys.
Coming in hot, Greg.
I think Carson Wentz at this point is essentially Jameis Winston. Like, I think those guys are remarkably similar. And by the way, I'd rather have both of them than Kirk Cousins.
Wow, you would.
I think Kirk Cousins is so unbelievably mediocre that Kirk Cousins' ceiling isn't anywhere near Carson Wentz's and Jameis Winston's ceilings. I mean, we've seen Carson Wentz's ceiling is he was on his way to the MVP when he got hurt. Yes, Jameis Winston is a turnover machine. No one would argue that Joe Prano is in any way a Jameis Winston fan. But Jameis Winston, threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. I just think athletically, arm-wise, mobility, big playability, you have Jameis Winston. And then the floor, yeah. We have the huge sack games by Kirk Cousins. We have the huge turnover games by Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is so unbelievably mediocre.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me. I wouldn't want Jameis. Cross him off my list. So just get rid of him. Has Carson Wentz won a playoff game?
No, not personally.
Right?
Maybe not.
And Kirk Cousins has won one. So I would put it down to those two guys. I wouldn't want to. I probably might lean towards Carson Wentz, I guess. But yeah,
none of them are good options.
No.
Can I take fucking Josh Johnson? Can I take Mitchell Trubisky?
Yeah. Well, time to review a few things here in their ball calls. We're going back because a few people have called about some things we've discussed. We have a frustrated call about someone, some long-time DirtBall, Kookmeyer calling. He was not happy. He saw a line in front of a Costco gas station and he was calling to vent. And you know what? 30 Sports is a good place to vent. So let's hear it out.
Yo, what's up, Dirty Sports? Captain Coop calling in. Sorry I'm on the road if it's a little bit of too much noise or anything. I just had to give another Costco update. It's 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. I'm heading down to beautiful Huntington Beach. Go catch some surf. Good combo as well. What? R.I.P. Coops of Comedy. Anyways, it's 6 in the fucking morning, and the Costco gas parking lot is packed. And by packed, I mean the line is wrapped around the Costco parking lot and bleeding back out onto the main street. People are waiting for fucking, I don't even know how long, but it's 6 o'clock in the goddamn morning on a beautiful Friday, and they're in line for gas. Not because they have to be, because they choose to be, because they are assholes. What amount of money are you saving at Costco gas over any other gas station? I'll tell you what, the gas is high in California. I get that. I saw places that were almost $5 yesterday driving around. I paid $4.05 at a local gas station, maybe a mile from Costco. I don't know what Costco's prices are, but better be getting a blowjob at the pump. This is bullshit. Hey, dirty boys. Condoms are for Costco motherfucking people.
Whoa. You don't gotta throw everybody. Condoms are for Costco people. It's about, I've been to Costco twice recently. It's about like 30 to 33 cents cheaper. But I'll say this. I think we've both agreed on this. I don't go out of my way. Like I filled up there a couple of weeks ago because I was low and I was at Costco and I thought, oh, this is great. I save about 33 cents. But yeah, I'm not going out of my way. Also, the Costco I go to, there's never a line. I couldn't tell you last time I actually waited at all. I pull right up.
The thing about those is like, let's say it's 33 cents cheaper, right? So let's say you fill your tank. Let's say you need 10 gallons of gas or 12 gallons of gas. We're talking about $3 to $4, right?
Sure.
Do you think if you're somebody out in that street that is waiting, you're wrapped into the street? Do you think if somebody came up to your window, like an In-N-Out fucking lady, and was like, hey, I'm from Costco Platinum, and we're doing a special deal today where if you give me $4 cash right now, we actually move you to the front of the line, they would do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then just go to a fucking regular gas station. My thing with it, like, you know, I'm not against saving money, and I'm not against, you know, using your membership points, and I'm not against whatever, you know, you get fucking, you know, bonus percentage kickback or whatever. But like when we, you know,
well, I learned something. By the way, I learned something
Venice,
on that. I learned something on that real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
You don't get points for gas.
No, Costco. I just learned this. The gas you buy does not go towards, if you have, like, I have an executive member where I get 2% back. Everything I buy over a 12-month period, I get 2% back up to $1,000, meaning they're not going to give me a cash check more than $1,000. And by the way, it goes towards buying. It's not cash. It goes towards Costco.
Purchases.
Yeah. Correct. So
gas not included.
Gas is not included.
Okay, that's fine. My point is this. You remember when we lived in Venice, there's a great ice cream place on Abercrombie, Salt and Straw. Ice cream's really good, like undeniably good. But you go by, and sometimes there's a line down the block.
Yeah.
I would literally never stand in that line. But if I was driving by and I could eat ice cream and there was zero line, I'd be like, I'm going to go get some fucking ice cream in no line. So I understand going to Costco gas, but I do not understand waiting in line for it.
I think Costco has done a brilliant job through psychologically messing with people, because I think people, for some reason, that's the universal thing is cheap gas. And if you know where a cheap gas station is, the cheapest by us where we both used to live, off of Abbott Kinney and Washington Boulevard, the one I used to always go to.
Right. But that was garbage gas. That was my problem with that gas.
It was definitely garbage.
Pretty sure it was the Coors Light of gas.
It was definitely garbage gas. And I would fill up, but it would always be insanely packed. So I'd always fill up like 10 o'clock or later at night because no one would be there. But it was the same thing where word has spread. If you're a gas station owner, that's the key. Just make it a few cents cheaper. People go nuts over that stuff.
Yeah, or be one of those scumbags who promotes the price and then you get there and that was like just the cash price and the credit price is like a whole other fucking thing.
Because I don't think people do the math like you're saying. At the end of the day,
dude, I'm such a convenience over savings person. I used to use, and I can't believe it's not a thing anymore. I'm sure they've replaced it with some other company, but there used to be a company called Purple that would come fill my gas for me wherever my car was. And it cost me like 10 cents extra a gallon. And I was like, all day. I don't even have to go to a gas station. I would go coach baseball and somebody would come fill my gas up. I would just leave the gas tank unlocked.
That's funny. All right. I want to follow up. This will probably be the last discussion we have on Toenail Gate within the Ruther family. My brother.
Oh, I got to shout out my boy, but yeah, go pull it up.
My brother as I've said, he took my deceased father's toenail clippers, which you and I have both agreed is repulsive and gross. And also a new toenail clipper is only $2.30 at Walgreens. And we put on a Twitter poll on Reddit about it. I'm sorry, a Reddit poll. Do you think this is gross? It seemed like a lot of dirtballs did not think it's gross. And we have a follow-up call from the original, I think one of the original callers about it.
I actually had another point that I forgot for a second. But who the fuck are you that you guys aren't washing your toenail clippers? Like,
hold on. There's 2 points to this call. I'm going to play them both. I actually didn't play the second one.
hey, this is Peter calling again. First of all, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it, but I do actually have toenail clippers.
All right, we got to go back. I think Peter, you
Jesus
said
Christ.
you would send Venmo to anybody who needs $2.30. So now he's calling to rebut that.
Okay.
And like I've had them for damn near a decade. Like, and to my point, they're the ones that I took when I moved out for my year of college. And that doesn't make it look good. But anyway, like when I moved out, I took those with me, and like I've had them ever since. Like, the worst part about all of it, Andy, is that your brother is a 40-year-old man who like needed toenail clippers. That's a little fucking weird that like you needed toenail clippers and you just like order it on Amazon at that second. Like, that's a little weird. Yeah, but yeah, that was it. Just, yeah.
So hold on. I'm going to finish up.
And then he's got his follow-up, right?
Yeah, this is the follow-up. I'll just go midway through.
Like, how are you like, oh, toenail clippers are so disgusting? Like, you wash them every few times. Who are you that don't wash it? Like, do you have to have your own cup because you don't wash fucking dishes? Like, clean things. Like, use rubbing alcohol and like clean things like a grown-up. But yeah, that was my other point.
Peter, what is going on here?
I love that Peter is stealing his family toenail clippers when he moves out to college. But he also, like an old-timey barber, keeps a jar full of fucking
rubbing alcohol,
mint green rubbing alcohol for his various metal clipping shears and toenail. Like, who has the antibacterial like doctor jar on the thing?
Some girl's like, "Hey man, get a condom." He's like, "Whoa. Those aren't over there. Hey, just dump that rubbing alcohol on your dick before we have sex." Peter, what are you doing? And then Peter's left so many calls.
I mean, listen to this. Talk about, I'm convenience over money guy, but like do the math in the long run. It's got to be more expensive to clean your toenail clippers with rubbing alcohol than it does to throw them into the fucking fire and buy $2.30 new ones the second that you think that they might be dirty.
He left another call too.
If I ever looked at them and I was like, these toenail clippers are dirty, I would throw them. Also, like through the years, like I don't think I've ever bought toenail clippers. I think I just have 10 of them from like various, like, oh, you get a razor kit and it gives you like the whole fucking.
Sure.
But I have to shout out my boy Jacob Hansen, who is one of my favorite dirtballs. He regularly sends me like money in Venmo, and it'll always be like, it's Miller time. Like I would say quarterly, I get a Venmo donation from Jacob. Well, this time he took his usual donation and he added $2.30 and he put Miller and toenail clippers.
Unreal. Perfect. Well, he left another call. Peter did about, I've lost track because this was like a month ago. How you guys probably already used those. I think we discussed that. Like those were probably the same ones, and they're not that you used growing up because your dad probably used the same ones on you And your brothers that he,
I mean, the same one, like
they're not.
What is happening in Peter's house where he every 6 months he breaks out the silver polish and does all his silverware and candlesticks and toenail clippers so that he can keep the family heirlooms going for 40 years of family toenail clipping. Dude, at some point that little knob gets like,
oh my God.
I mean, maybe it's just that I have gigantic feet and therefore gigantic toenails, but eventually the whole thing just snaps in half and I have to get a new one.
Yeah.
And I don't buy a new one because there's just a new one there.
And by the way, I don't disagree, Peter, with your point. Like my brother needed them. He should have just, I agree. He should have just ordered them or just walked into the nearest
Also,
CVS.
I'm not sure he needed them. Like I'm thinking he was just like, yo, I only have one. I should get two.
I think this should be a thing now. I think the Ruthers should pass down.
The weirdest part
Walt's
of this whole
toenail
conversation ever is that he didn't just put them in his pocket and leave.
I know.
He was just like, I'm going to take these toenail clippers. I'm going to report you to the FBI.
As if
I just found out my older brother's a serial killer.
As if I would have said.
Were there any signs that he had murdered 70 people and buried them in the Cincinnati woods? Well, yeah, there was the one time he announced in front of our family that he was taking our dead father's toenail clippers. Oh, yeah. You should have called us then.
I mean, 100%. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, as if I would have noticed, right? As if I would have. Because the brother text is strong. It's like, especially since my parents passed away, it's been so strong. The five of us, like it's out of control at times. I mean, like the brother text.
My favorite thing I think about the Ruther brothers text, and I don't know this for sure, but I have an inkling, is that everybody's phone's got different fucking nicknames for all you. Like somebody's phone definitely has the Ruther's brother text, and it's like rug and cheese and nuts and butts, and you're like, what is all this?
Oh yeah, it's out of control. That first of all, that text would be very incriminating, I'd assume, on a lot of us, but like. The thought that he would have to announce it to everybody. And the only way to end this show is on a call, which I don't even remember. I just wrote in my note, how high is this dude? So we'll play it out.
Hey, how's it going, boys? Owen, former Pennsylvania and now New Jersey DirtBall. I have two things I want to go over here. One, the tragic news of Coach O. You hate to see a guy like that lose his job, but you got to, call it back to when, he said, "You can like a gator, you can tackle a man." And also, I think there's a conspiracy going on here with Ruth talking about his brother Elliot. Do you think that he was the Uber driver that Andy referred to a few episodes back, where he's saying the Raiders are in Vegas now and all that fun stuff? Because that guy definitely doesn't know about the invisible first down line. So, or not the invisible, you know what I'm talking about, the first down line on the field. But that's everything. Condoms are for. I had it and I lost it. Damn it. Whatever. That's everything. Stay dirty.
What is going on there?
That's a great call. That's a great call. That's a classic DirtBall call.
And he's like doing a callback to like the Lyft driver that I mentioned 2 months ago. 310-359-8365. If you want to leave a call, we're here, guys. And you guys never cease to amaze me. You really don't. Pretty funny. I don't even know what to say about that call. I don't know what he's talking about.
I got his points.
Yeah. Classic dirtball.
I don't think there's supposed to be any follow-up from us, but I got his points.
No, I have, again, forgetting the condoms are for, just pausing, awkward.
He's like, I had it and I lost it. And then 20 seconds of silence. He's like, yeah, that's it. It's not coming back to me.
Dude, it all goes back to, we've joked about this. The dirtballs feel this weird pressure when they call.
Yeah.
And then they call back like, don't play that one, Ruther. I messed up. Which I love.
Take a page from Michael Magid and type it out and put it on a teleprompter.
or the dude who had the script where
where you could hear the pages flipping,
ruffling through the next page.
Magid at least is smart enough to be using the Notes app on his phone. He's got bullet points.
Magid puts more effort into our calls than any audition in LA.
Magid's like taking notes at the game on his Notes app so that he can go back and like read his in the moment thoughts. Did you see somebody who had beef with like the nachos post on Twitter?
No.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Like for some reason, somebody posted, I think it might have been even in response to, I think you tweeted the picture of Magid that Magid sent from the game. And the guy was like, I guess you're saying that you're going to dump nachos on the guy in front of you. And it was like, no, we're saying Michael Magid is a lunatic who eats nachos out of a helmet at every sporting event he goes to. But of course, the internet, like people have beef with literally everything.
This is the response. I have it right here. Is it enjoy the helmet nachos? ? Is in someone else pouring nachos on his head. Wow. What times we live in. That's why I went. By the way, double exclamation point after that. That's why when I see people getting they ass beat at every stadiums, I find it funny as fuck. And Aaron Hernandez, number 81, was innocent, by the way. What?
Yeah.
This is just a troll.
And to that guy, I say, yo, fool.
Unbelievable. I do like the idea. I think Stanga put this out there of Magid reviewing every stadium in America for us.
I love it.
Just send him on a tour. I love it. Joe, where can the Dirtball see you live this week?
Tomorrow night and Wednesday night, I will be at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida, working with Eddie Ift. Shout out to the Dirtballs, including #1 verified Dirtball John Smith, who made it to the Dead Crow in Wilmington, North Carolina this past weekend. Those were some fun shows. It was great to meet John after all these years. And it's always great. And shout out to all the other Dirtballs who I met this weekend. And I hope to meet some of you guys tomorrow and Wednesday at Off the Hook in Naples. If you're in the Naples, Florida area and you play golf, hit me up because I'm going to be golfing the next couple of days. Let's hit the links together. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if there's any possibility that we have Dirtballs who live in Key West or any of the Florida Keys for that matter, we will be at Key West Comedy again with Eddie. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Florida. Come see me. Go to joeprano.com, adding shows all the time. And follow me on all social media at Joe Prano, except for Twitter, where I remain Fix Your Life.
All right, guys. You can find us at The Dirty Sports. And if you leave a podcast review, I will send you koozies. I'm getting a bunch out this week. So leave your Twitter or Instagram handle in that review, and I'll send you 2 free koozies in the mail. All right. That is our show for today. Thanks for all the calls, all the comments, all the humor that you guys give us through your ridiculous questions or phone calls. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll be back in a few days. And as always,